Welcome to my project completion overview presentation for my interactive cyber e-learning platform. My name is Martin Hancock. As I say, this is my final project presentation for my foundation degree in Information Technology and Communications, Staffordshire University. So the outline of this presentation, I'll be giving a quick project overview, rationale, the methodology used to provide the final solution. I'll be doing a system design comparison, so basically showcasing what was originally designed to the actual end solution, a system demonstration of the capabilities, and then a conclusion towards the end. So that project overview essentially was to design and create an interactive cyber e-learning platform to be web-based, which would serve delivery content and links to other things such as the email platform. It was containing a mix of licensed and open source software, and it was implemented in a classroom environment, but the system can be used standalone as well if there's a need to be deployed in another room or the large classroom range is not available for whatever reason. So that in existing current training environment is as follows. We have our existing cyber range. This is the classroom infrastructure as it is at the minute. Quite a large range with our switches and our hubs and our multiple servers, firewalls and virtualization products. So that's the range as it is, or the classroom environment. The e-learning platform is the bolt-on to the large range. It consists of two Dell 1U servers and a Cisco router, and you'll see in the diagram in a second how this all connects together. So as I say, it's to enhance our current training environment. The software development lifecycle was the methodology that I used, and this has served me very well indeed, to be honest with you. Starting off with that requirement analysis to see exactly what I needed, through to the system design and exactly what software was required and applications, etc. Through to implementation, through to the integration and testing phase, which I managed to get some real students to do my testing with. To the deployment of the system into the live classroom environments using real students, real instructors to really give the system a good thorough testing, and then a very small maintenance phase towards the end, so that if there's any system snags they could be sorted out at that point. So moving on to a system design comparison, I've got the two diagrams here of the original proposal and the actual final solution. There are a few differences between what was originally proposed and what the actual final solution contains. So the original plan was to have a central core server which would provide web services, Active Directory authentication with group policy and core network services should they be required. Bolted onto the server was an Exchange server to provide messaging and other sort of calendar, office-based applications, with an Office communications server to provide live messaging and maybe conferencing. A ISA server which was planned to provide very limited internet connectivity for research, and that's changed quite dramatically, and I'll touch on that very shortly. To the Hyper-V, which was the virtualization platform where other additional virtualized operating systems could be hosted. The connectivity was provided by a standard Netgear switch, 100 meg switch. The Cisco router was to be connected into that segment. That's in there, so Telnet's capabilities can be demonstrated as part of some of the learning. Then you had the student client, and then ultimately you had that internet connectivity, which would have been provided through the ISA server to give it quite a small amount of connectivity. That's actually changed a little bit. You'll see on the next diagram here. The core server, web server, Active Directory, and all the core network services, they still remain on that main web server. The Exchange server is still in the final design, and that still provides the messaging and all the calendar and the Office functions. The chat server was changed to OpenFire server, from Microsoft Office Communicator, which was a very incredibly difficult piece of software to deploy, to be honest. It did cause me to actually rebuild the server from scratch. So I just went out and researched an easier open source client server which works very well, as you'll see. The virtualization, instead of using Microsoft's Hyper-V, I used Oracle VirtualBox because it runs some of the virtuals that I'm running in the class much better and much efficiently. The Cisco router remains. The Netgear switch is still providing the connectivity. However, this is a new part of the design. This is the client access server. This provides a Windows 7 environment, and it provides it for the student client. The student client at the moment is a Windows XP Service Pack 2 environment, and it's that way because it's a very, very vulnerable operating system, and it actually forms part of the larger range. But if they want that Windows 7 environment, they can remote into this client access server. So I'll demonstrate that very shortly, and still be able to access the core web services, applications, and chat, and all the virtualization. So moving on to the actual system demonstration itself, I'll show you the administrator's capabilities, and then I'll show you the student capability as far as the Windows 7 environment is concerned. So to access the administrator server, we use RDP, or remote desktop connection. The administrator puts in the IP of the server. They hit the connect button. Then there's the authentication process, so they put in the administrator password, and that will log them in to the main administrative server, if you like. They've got a number of applications that they can use. We have the web authoring software, which I'll just fire up for you now. So we can open up the website and edit it. I'll just minimize that while that loads. We have the Oracle virtualization technology. I'll open up that application. There we go. So I can open up and run my virtuals very, very easily. That's the virtualization platform. The excuse me, there's the OpenFire chat client. This allows them to chat between themselves, between the instructors, set up chat rooms essentially, so they can have conferences, share desktops, send files, all sorts of stuff. There is a little administrative console with that as well, which is very, very useful for monitoring what students are connected and when. So I'll just log that in. I'll just minimize that while I move on to the Exchange Administration Center, which allows the administrator to go in and create mailboxes should extra students need to be loaded into the system. There we go. So there's the web authoring software, so they can change days and content and text and all that sort of stuff. And this publishes that straight into the hard drive, or it can be set up to FTP. It could be installed on a remote client workstation to do the authoring. And there's the Exchange Administration Center, provided through a web browser as well. Again, this is the OpenFire administrator panel for the chat element. So that's essentially your administrator demonstration. As far as the students concerned, again they use the remote desktop protocol. I've already connected and fired and logged into a student session. You'll see they've got group policy set up so that it immediately delivers them the e-learning platform and all the course content they can access. There's useful links so they can connect to their Outlook web apps, so they can look at their emails, calendars, all that sort of thing. There's links to software that they can download should they need it, and also links to other services that may be running on the platform. So that's that. So I'll just prove that the mailbox is there. They log in using their password, and they get their email and their calendar and all that sort of good stuff, as well as applications such as Wireshark. We've got Visio running on here, so if they wanted to do any network diagrams, they could do that sort of thing in this environment. So, and it's easy. And then you want to log off, they just log off as a standard user. So that's the environment. So in conclusion then, really, It set out to do exactly what it set out to do originally, and that was to be that interactive e-learning platform to provide all them services, email, chat, the actual deliverables, the lessons, all that sort of stuff. It is used as a classroom enhancement. As I say, it's bolt onto the main range. It provides learning on demand. They can use the system during lessons, after, during break, lunch, whenever they like. And ultimately, it's portable and expandable. That system can be moved very, very easily into another classroom, and it can be classed as used as a mini range, essentially, with very, very sort of cut down versions of the large cyber range platform. And that concludes my presentation. Thank you very much.